Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on your AM dial. It is good to have you. This is SCVI and iLEAD Schools Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson. Good morning to you. You know, our show, Eye on the Valley, it is brought to you, like I said, by SCVI and iLEAD Schools. We are a network of charter schools, and you know, folks always ask me this question: how are charter schools different than public schools? And that's a misnomer of a question, because you know, charter schools are public schools. We are your local public schools. The only difference is charter schools have the freedom to innovate and do things a little bit differently, and our borders are also a lot wider open, so that that you're able to attend from a lot broader area. But anyways, SCVI and iLEAD Schools are a network of charter schools. We've got campuses in Castaic, our founding campus, SCVI. We've got iLEAD Agua Dulce here on the east side of the valley. We've got campuses in Lancaster as well. And we also have fully accredited online schools or virtual schools. We've got an online school that we're going to be talking about today, iLEAD Online. We also have a burgeoning homeschool program called iLEAD Exploration. For information on our virtual schools or our classroom-based schools, you can visit us at ileadschools.org. So our show, we've got, our eye on education. We're keeping our eye on things that are happening in schools here in Santa Clarita and across the nation. But like the show says, we also like to keep our eye on the valley for you as well, bringing you everything that you need to know about what's what here in the valley. And we try to have a little bit of fun while doing it, because I've got this deal with my boss. You know, I'll pretty much do anything they ask me to, as long as I can goof off while I'm doing it. So, gets me in a little trouble sometimes. I get the side eye from the boss, but it's all good. She gives me the side eye, and I just look the other way. So, let's go ahead and get started. Happy Friday, everybody. Boy, the summer showed up right on time, very punctual this year. We celebrated Memorial Day this Monday, and we've been in the 90s ever since. So it's getting warm here in SoCal, but Awesome Town is still the greatest place in the world to live. We've got things continuing to open up and more events happening in person. Lots of things going on in the valley this weekend. We've got drive-in movies. We've got farm camps for your littles. We've even got an open-air opera happening in Santa Clarita this year. There's all kinds of stuff going on. More on that a little bit later in the show. Give you some details. Have your pen handy or your calendar with you, because we'll be talking a little bit later about what's coming up this weekend, some things that you and the family can get involved in. But coming up on today's big show, we've got some terrific guests joining us. We've got Kate Wolf on the line from iLEAD Online Charter School. You're looking toward next school year, not really sure where to send the kids. Well, listen to what Kate has to say. They've got a fully accredited kindergarten through 12th grade online school that's growing fast. That's in just a minute. And if you're thinking, ooh, online school sounds a lot like homeschool, then you haven't heard Kate talk before, because her school is very, very different than what you might be thinking. A little bit later on in the show, we'll have Tim and Susan Traurig. They have founded Guardians of Santa Clarita Valley. Now, Guardians is a local nonprofit dedicated to the men and women that are veterans, military, law enforcement, and firefighters who are active, retired, or in the reserves. We'll talk to them about how they're supporting the men and women who protect us, as well as the tragedy up here in Agua Dulce this past Tuesday at Fire Department Station 81. And we will end the show, as we do, with some fun and frivolity with Big T's 5 Minutes of Fame. So yeah, it's going to be a great show. Let's go ahead and get started. As I said, my first guest today is Kate Wolf with iLEAD Online. Kate began teaching as an English instructor at both the college level and at a private college prep high school. She came to iLEAD in 2016 as an English facilitator. You know, facilitator is what we call our teachers, not just to call them something different, but because what they do is a little bit different. But Kate joined us as an English facilitator at iLEAD Online in 2016. And then a few years ago, because she's amazing like that, she was promoted to program coordinator. And she currently homeschools her 4th grade, I believe that's still current, 4th grade twin girls, and her 1st grade son, although if I'm doing the math, we may be a year off on that. And she also has a little alongside her with her husband. So they homeschool those kids while she's working with her students online. Kate is grateful to be working for a school that meets learners exactly where they are, values each child's story, and finds a way to engage them in an authentic, personal way. Good morning, Kate. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. What was I right? Am I a year off now with your bio? Are your girls in 5th grade now?
Not yet. I'm going to
Not
take
yet.
my time.
Okay,
They're still in 4th grade, so you're
perfect.
totally correct.
Perfect. Still in 4th grade, and then your little boy's in 1st grade. He's celebrating a birthday today. So,
He is, yep.
all right. Congratulations to him. So, Kate, tell us a little bit more about your history with iLEAD as an organization. How did you? Because you're there, you're teaching college and college prep high schoolers. So, how did you find us at little old iLEAD, and then what roles have you served? Because you've kind of moved up pretty quickly in our organization.
Sure. So I think in my last year of teaching college prep and college, that was around the time that my twins were coming into school. And it was really important to me to really think carefully about what I wanted as an education for them and how I wanted to serve as an educator in my community. And I really believe in flexibility and personalization and really celebrating kids for their individual unique strengths and passions and letting them really love learning. And iLEAD does that. And so I was really excited to be able to just find you through my research and be able to join your team. So I started as an online English facilitator or teacher instructor with iLEAD Online, and then I also was an EF or educational facilitator through the Exploration Home Study program. So I did both of those for a little while, and then I moved over solely to online and up into program coordinator. So I've had the privilege of being able to work with an amazing team of educators across the board, really, who are really dedicated to serving kids and meeting them where they are and really celebrating each of their stories.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You do have an amazing team, and we're so glad that you're there to lead them. But the passion with which your team works with your learners is just amazing. You touched on it a little bit, but is there something in particular that you enjoy most about working with iLEAD Online?
Yes, I would say that iLEAD Online offers a little bit of everything for families. So we have curriculum ready to go that is accredited and standards-based and all of the things, right, for families who might not want to search for their own curriculum or might feel overwhelmed by all of the options out there. We have credentialed teachers and coaches ready and there supporting those kids with that curriculum, but we also offer the personalization. So if there's a family who doesn't, has a passion for a particular topic within a science class, we can make adjustments to the curriculum to meet them where they are. If there's a learner who's in, say 4th grade and traveling up the coast, we can, create a project around that to satisfy social science, right, and California history. So while that curriculum is there, there's also a ton of room for flexibility and real customization that is guided by really incredibly talented educators.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think it's just so beautiful how open to customize you guys are. I remember, now this was years ago, in fact, before iLEAD was ever founded. My nephew was in 4th grade, and his family was traveling to Europe for a couple of weeks, and his parents, my brother and sister-in-law, wanted to work with their teacher about, can we design something around what he's going to be seeing and learning in Europe to help satisfy those 2 weeks of school that he's going to be missing? And the answer was absolutely not. He shouldn't be missing school. We've got, too many important things going on here in the middle of the spring in 4th grade that he just really shouldn't be missing. And they were very disappointed that he would be missing those 2 weeks of school. But I love how you guys take that vacation, that trip up the coast, or the unique opportunity that maybe a family has of grandparents moving in. And you just work with every family and customize the education. Something that I forgot to touch on, Kate, you guys kind of function with 2 separate missions, right? Because you have, like I said, fully accredited, WASC approved online school for kindergarten through 12th grade. I can enroll my kindergartner, my freshman in high school full-time online with iLEAD Online. But you've also got students that kind of take courses piecemeal that attend different schools, don't you? How does that work?
We do. We have a vendor side, and learners are welcome to purchase our courses individually. They can purchase them out of pocket, or sometimes with home study programs, there are instructional funds that learners can use to purchase our courses, and you can take one or as many as you'd like, really. All of our courses are, like you said, WASC accredited. Our high school courses are AG and NCAA approved where applicable. We have a full range of AP and CTE, or career and technical education classes, to kind of get kids prepped and thinking about future career choices. So they can pick classes for lots of different reasons that they might want to take part-time. There are kids who want to maybe take a PE class, right, and get credit for that. There are kids who might not have room in their schedules for an elective or an AP course. Or maybe we have an AP course that's not offered at their home school that we can provide for them. So that's a huge part of our program and something that we really enjoy being able to offer. And we're lucky that we can, because our online classes, like I said, are super flexible. So they meet all the standards, right? But there's still that room for personalization and making sure that we can help kids master those learning concepts and objectives, but in a way that makes them successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I love, like you said about the vendor side of things, is that flexibility. Because, when you don't have to operate a campus, and when your facilitators don't have to drive into work and maintain a space, it gives that flexibility to everybody. Where we've had kids come in from other high schools who maybe weren't interested in the one or two foreign languages, for example, that are offered on their campus. And, they maybe their school offers Spanish and French, which you also offer, but they want to take Japanese or Mandarin. And they can come to iLEAD Online and take those languages. And like you said, fully NCAA and A through G approved, which means, yes, you can put it on your high school transcripts for college, not college credit, but for your college application. So it's, like I said, fully accredited. There's no but, no asterisk or anything like that next to the courses. So iLEAD Online, let's go back to your founding, because you guys were founded on a premise that things could be done differently. Things could be done better, because you guys aren't the only ones in the online learning space. You guys were founded to make online learning personalized, as you mentioned, where students can get the education that meets their specific needs in an online setting. So how do you guys accomplish this? How do you guys interact online while being able to connect with your learners, build relationships with your learners, pivot, make changes, make adjustments, customize? How do you guys do all that if you're doing it through an online interface?
So I think that there are a couple of ways we do that. That's an excellent question. The first way is that we are not a school that provides a textbook and then a multiple choice test. We really try to provide hands-on project options that give kids a lot of voice and choice. And I think that model automatically invites kids to engage and ask questions and get passionate about what they're doing. So that's huge, right? And then also we have our academic coaches and our facilitators who offer they're optional, but live office hours and tutoring on demand for that personal interaction that kids often need in order to connect with their instructor and share their passions and their interests and meet to kind of customize a path. But they're not necessarily times where a kid has to log in at a particular time and over Zoom, right? Because we do serve a lot of kids with demanding schedules. So we meet them, like I said, where they are. And then the other way that I think, and this is probably the most important way that we're able to customize and engage, is through those conversations, we get to know the kids. Like, for example, we have a kid that I was just working with last semester in chemistry who rides horses, and we got to talk to her about what she was passionate about and what she was interested in. And so we designed a project for her chem class where she was studying pH levels, right? So she did a whole lab on pH, and then she studied at her barn how pH levels in the horse's intestinal system can affect their health, right, and their performance. And so she got to apply it to her life away from the computer. And I think that that's key, right? Like, we may be online, but we encourage kids to move away from the screen and learn in their lives, in their spaces, and share with us how their spaces are connected to their learning so that we can kind of create that experience for them.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think what people kind of immediately move out of the equation when they think of online learning is the people, right? But that's what makes iLEAD Online so unique, is the people, the relationships, the connections that you build with your learners. Now,
Sure.
I know families, as I mentioned before, they're looking toward 2021, 2022, the next school year, and thinking, you know, am I happy with where my student currently is? But when they think of online, okay, my kid's going to be online, which means he's going to be home, which means he or she is going to be, I'm going to have to homeschool, right? How is this different from homeschooling, or is it very similar? Is the parent the one really the driving force there? Am I going to have to be doing the schooling?
So I would say yes and no, right? The parent isn't doing the schooling, in that we have our online facilitators who have created these beautiful courses that are customizable. They create projects as needed. We also have academic coaches who work with our full-time learners alongside those course facilitators. So there's a whole team that works with each kid. And our academic coaches, we think of them as kind of like educational Sherpas, right? They help pick classes. They help monitor progress. They help, reach out and kind of ask, help learners ask for help and self-advocate and all the things. So there's a whole system of support and curriculum that's ready, but we cherish our parent partnership, right? Like, we want to talk to the parents and learn about their families and what they need and how their child learns. And we want to include them in creating support systems that help their kids succeed. So they're definitely partners with us, but the onus is not on the parent at all to create curriculum or sit down and educate day to day. And I would say, too, that as the kids get a little bit older, as you guys know, right, they get a little bit more independent. For the younger kids, a lot of times the parents do like to sit in on campfires, right, and see what their kids are doing. But again, there's a whole team there to support that.
I love that idea of an educational Sherpa. That's just that is great. And you mentioned something important that I do want to talk about in a minute, about how it is vastly different. Well, maybe not vastly different, but it's quite different, the experience in maybe a middle and high school online setting as it is for your younger ones, your kindergartners, your third graders, your fourth graders. I want to talk about that when we come back from the break. And I also want to talk about what you guys are planning on doing for the summer, because, boy, you're not giving your team much of a break, are you, Kate? We're with Kate Wolf, program coordinator with iLEAD Online. When we get back, we'll talk to her about their summer programs and what it looks like in the lower elementary grades versus the middle and high school, and more importantly, how your children can enroll if you're interested. And, we may even get a little bit political. I'm Matt Watson, and this is SCVI and iLEAD Schools Eye on the Valley, and you're listening to your hometown station, KHTS.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow, here to tell you about my Giza Dream bed sheets. I made sure that they would be everything you'd ever want in a sheet set. I started with the world's finest cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region where the Sahara Desert, the Nile River, and the Mediterranean Sea all meet. The long staple cotton makes my Giza Dream sheets ultra soft and durable. They come with extra wide pillowcases to fit over any pillow and extra deep pockets to fit over any mattress. Not only that, they come with my 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And now you can get the best sheets ever for the best price ever. When you buy one of my Giza Dream bed sheet sets, you'll get another one absolutely free. I personally guarantee that they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KHTS or call 800-973-3927 and use the promo code KHTS. That's 800-973-3927. Or go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KHTS.
When you think about your next place, maybe even your forever place, are you hearing more of this and less of this? Introducing 5 Point Valencia, a vibrant new community coming to the Santa Clarita Valley. A place with parks, trails, and fresh architecture, all tuned to the way people want to live today. New homes for all, with prices to match, from the low 400,000s to over $1 million. Learn more at valencia.com.
I'm Kirk Stinson with Plumbing by Kirk. Over the years, I've helped many Santa Clarita residents with their plumbing problems. I've seen it all, from clogged drains, running toilets, broken water heaters, and so much more. I've also installed new drains and answered hundreds of emergency calls, even on the holidays. If you have a plumbing problem or you just want to upgrade your existing water heater or drain, give me a call. No issue is too big and no issue is too small.
Call now for estimates on new drain installations, old drain replacements, and water heaters. 263-6519 or log on to plumbingbykirk.com.
Green Thumb International has the widest variety of shrubs, flowering plants, and gardening supplies in the Santa Clarita Valley. This week in your garden, with the arrival of fall comes one of the year's most important annual color planting times. Color season annuals planted now will continue to bloom throughout the spring. Everything for your yard and garden is right here at Green Thumb on San Fernando Road near Sierra Highway. Green Thumb puts the green in your thumb.
Thinking of buying a house and want a really low interest rate? Owning has a special for home purchases, where Owning pays all your closing costs, and the rate in APR is an unheard of 1.875% for a 15-year fixed mortgage with 20% down. This is the craziest low rate for a mortgage with no closing costs that Owning has ever done. 1.875% rate in APR. Heck, we're almost paying you to live in a new house. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to see if you qualify for this crazy low 1.875% rate. That's a fixed rate loan at 1.875% with no closing costs. Call 833-2-OWNING now because 1.875 could go away at any time.
NMLS 2611, licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Subject to credit approval. Offer assumes the use of Lender's Choice escrow and title services. Call 833-858-0066 for terms and conditions.
That's 833-2-OWNING or owning.com. 833-2-OWNING or owning.com.
When you hire a CPA firm or tax preparer, you want a firm with people who understand you, your business and industry, and participates in your local community. You need a firm that has long-standing, successful professional relationships around Southern California with attorneys, bankers, and other CPA firms who can provide additional help to your personal and business needs. Denny & Company, LLP. CPAs that make life less taxing. Call 286-8860, 286-8860.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. I am Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and iLEAD School's Eye on the Valley. We're talking online learning this morning with Program Coordinator Kate Wolf of iLEAD Online. Kate, before we took a break, we were talking about, you had mentioned how you do things differently, you connect differently, your program is set up differently for your high schoolers and your middle schoolers than it is for your younger learners. I know you work mostly with the older learners, but can you tell us what the program looks like for the different grade levels? What does it look like for my high schooler versus maybe my second grader?
Sure. So for our upper school, for our high school, all of our full-time learners have individual course facilitators, so kind of like a teacher for each class that they take, like they would in a high school normally. And then we also have an academic coach who works with each of our high school learners, and I kind of talked about that before. They help them pick classes, kind of guide them through that educational journey, make sure that they feel supported, that there's a good dialogue between facilitators and families. And then for our lower school kiddos...
Well, before you get to that, Kate, I just want to highlight that. I never really thought of it this way. So for your high schoolers, they've got their math teacher, their English teacher, their science teacher, their foreign language teacher, but then they also have kind of like their own personalized counselor in that academic coach. who guides them
Absolutely.
and also facilitates communication. If, oh, my math teacher just doesn't get me. He hates me. That's why I'm getting a bad grade. Well, let's get in there and let's talk about it. Well, that's a game
Exactly.
changer.
It's huge, and our coaches are they're amazing because they are constantly working to support kids and facilitate those conversations. And then on top of that, we also have a counselor, right, who helps with college and career preparedness.
Wow.
So there really is a whole team behind these kids that's helping walk them through each step of the process, as much or as little as they need.
Fantastic. So I interrupted you. Tell me now what it looks like in elementary school.
Sure. So for our K through 5 and then starting next year for our 6 through 8 as well, we have an interdisciplinary classroom model. Especially for the littles, we wanted to kind of condense things, and our coach and our facilitator are the same person.
Okay.
So like in a K through 5 classroom, your teacher teaches all of your core subjects, right? So those kids don't have to worry about moving between teachers like the older kids who are a little bit more mature would be able to, and we'd want them to kind of step in and out a little bit. For the littles, we want things to be kind of close to home and condensed, and so they work with that same coach facilitator, kind of like a coachilitator, right, who helps to support them in the same ways that our older kids get, but there's just one point of contact, which is also really nice for families too, right?
Yeah.
There's one person that you reach out to.
Right, and if you can remember when you were a 7-year-old, your teacher was probably the second or third most important person in your life. That one person to care for you and bond with is really important. And then
exactly. And then for our lowers, we also have more live interaction opportunities. They get campfire 3 times a week, which is kind of a chance to have some live instruction and support and story time. That's still optional, but a lot of our kids really enjoy it and they look forward to it. For our older kids, they have what's called advisory, kind of like our version of homeroom, live once a week that they join in with their coach to connect with, and then they have access to all of their individual course instructors for live hours once a week for each of them, and then also tutoring that they can schedule on demand. And our part-time kids also have access to tutoring and office hours through our facilitators.
And so that advisory and that campfire that take place multiple times a week, that's also the opportunity for learners to connect with their classmates too, right? Because they're not on their own with their teachers. They're connecting, they're bonding, they're collaborating, they're challenging each other, they're debating, they're doing all the things that they would be doing in a classroom, right?
Yes, exactly.
Except that their families are able to take that epic road trip or spend the semester in South America or go on tour because they're semi-professional athletes or what have you. It really provides tremendous flexibility. So that is terrific.
And celebration of that, right? We love it when kids share those things. We want them to feel like that's a valuable thing and such an important part of who they are in their education.
It really is. That's one of the things that I really quickly learned when I came to iLEAD is I was really challenged with the question of why do kids have to wait until they're finished with 12th grade before they start living their life? They're in the real world now, and school shouldn't get in the way of that. It should facilitate that and help improve that experience. Now, Kate, tell us about Track C. I mentioned that your folks aren't going to get much of a break this summer. You guys are working really hard. What opportunities do learners have for the summer with iLEAD Online?
Sure. So we have a Track C, which is a July 1 start to our school year. And our Track C actually runs the whole year long. But we often get kids who choose to enroll with us for Track C starting July 1 and take a couple of classes during the months of July and August. And then if they want, they can choose to withdraw and go elsewhere, or they can stay with us for the whole year. We get a lot of kids who come in for Track C July 1 and love it and decide to stay and continue to love it. So it's a great opportunity to continue the learning throughout the whole year, including the summer months, to get some classes out of the way. It's a great opportunity for credit recovery. For the younger kids, K through 8, we have our adventure classes, which we built really thoughtfully with the intention of providing lots of hands-on fun learning projects that are standards-based but not super intense or, they don't feel like you're sitting in front of a computer doing worksheets, right? They kind of encourage kids to get hands-on and have fun and also learn some math and some science and some ELA and some history, right? They cover all the subjects, but in a really fun, creative, project-based way.
So as you're talking, Kate, I'm thinking Track C might be perfect for multiple different kind of populations of kids. I'm thinking, we're coming out of the pandemic now, and, some kids didn't take so well to distance learning and maybe failed a class or two. And so they may need to, like you said, pick up a couple of classes in the summer. And so they're able to come in for those summer months, pick up those classes, and then unenroll and go right back to their regular school, right?
Absolutely, yes.
But then I'm also thinking about kids that may want to move a little bit faster, maybe graduate a semester early. And then we've heard so much about this notion of learning loss, and families are really concerned, right? Gosh, my kid just got back to school a month ago, 2 months ago, and now they're going to go on vacation for 2 months, and I'm worried about this notion of learning loss, and if my kid's falling behind, they can get involved, whether it's part of this adventure program that you're talking about for the younger ones that's still very academic, but lots of fun, or the older ones that are moving forward in one or more of their curriculum pieces. So you're serving the needs of a lot of different groups of kids here.
Yes, we really care about putting kids first, and we want them to feel engaged, and that's part of what really we do all year long, but what we really encourage for our Track C kiddos that come for July and August. Like I said, the adventure for the youngers hits all of those targets for keeping them learning and thinking and moving, but in a fun way. And for kids that may have been stressed or would like a break, like this is, I think, a great kind of compromise where you're sort of sneaking in the spinach with the yummy stuff. And for the older kids, it may be an elective, right, that they want to get off their schedule, but they're really interested in. We have some amazing courses from entrepreneurship, which lets kids play around with starting their own business and imagining what that would be like, to like geometry and architecture, right, where they're learning about those concepts through buildings that are famous or travel, right? So there are lots of really fun options where kids can feel like they have lots of choice in what they're taking and yet still be learning and getting all of the good stuff during the summer.
And so they can do this, again, full-time, part-time, but I do want to clarify, are these programs just for kids that are already enrolled in iLEAD Online or SCVI or one of our iLEAD schools, or is this open to anybody?
This is open to anybody. For our full-time kids, as long as you live within the counties we serve, we can definitely enroll you full-time, which is Los Angeles, Orange, Ventura, Kern, or San Bernardino County. If you don't live within the counties we serve, then you can still purchase courses out of pocket, and we provide official transcripts upon completion. Or if you just wanted to purchase an adventure experience, we offer that as well. So it's really for anybody who wants it.
Absolutely. I was going to say the same thing. It really is. It seems like it is. You've got something for everyone. So how can families sign up? How do I get on a wait list? How do I enroll for the summer? Or where do I go, Kate?
We're still accepting enrollment, so there's no wait list at this time, which is great news. You can go to iLEADonline.org and just choose Enroll Now, and then choose your track. And if you're interested in Track C, you would choose Track C, and it'll walk you right through the process. iLEADonline.org. Producer Sarah has placed the link in the chat on the Facebook page if you're watching us on the Facebook live feed. Otherwise, it's really easy to remember, iLEADonline.org. Now, Kate, we did talk a little bit about enrollment, and here at Eye on the Valley, we try to stay apolitical, but a lot of what happens in Sacramento affects so much of what we can and cannot do at school. So can you talk to us a little bit about what happened for this current school year, meaning 2020-2021, in regards to your enrollment? Because about this time last year, you guys were kind of really hit with a gut punch, weren't you? We were. So because of recent legislation, our enrollment was capped at our 1920 levels, which was really difficult because, as you can imagine, right, due to COVID, we had a lot of families interested in online education, and we were not able to enroll everybody because of that cap. However, in spite of that, we still took on as many kids as we could because we really believe in putting learners first.
Wow.
So we did grow as a school last year considerably.
So I didn't realize that happened, that you guys responded that way. So I knew the state had basically said your enrollment was frozen, right? You weren't allowed to grow. Whatever your enrollment was last school year, you weren't allowed to add any more kids. And what they meant by that is you could enroll kids, but you weren't going to get any state funds from them, which is how we pay the bills, right?
Correct.
But you guys still took kids that were applying because we're in the midst of a pandemic and families needed online learning more than ever.
Yes, we took as many kids as we could. And our team did an amazing job serving a lot of learners, and we had fun with them. We love working with kids. So.
That is great. So you took on those kids even though you didn't get the funding for them. Are you guys going to be able to grow this next school year?
I'm hoping so. We aren't sure, right? We're waiting to see if any further legislation happens by the end of June. So we're staying optimistic and hoping that we can continue to serve learners as best we can.
Well, terrific. We'll definitely keep our fingers crossed. I know there was a pretty wicked piece of legislation that got, I guess couched. It wasn't killed, but it was couched, and so we're remaining optimistic for that. So hopefully you guys will be able to continue to grow. But I know whatever takes place, you guys are going to continue to do what needs to be done for kids. So one more time, Kate, how can people find out more information or enroll their kids, whether it's in Track C for the summer or moving into next school year?
Sure. You just go to iLEADonline.org, and that is our website. It gives you all the information you need from the courses we offer to how to enroll in both our Track A, which is our August start, and our Track C, which is our July start.
And there's also an email there, an information button if you want more info. You're not sure about it, you want to ask questions, reach out to Kate and the team. They really are doing amazing things with kids online. It is not the stale click multiple choice kind of program. There's great human interaction there. Kate, you guys are doing exciting things at iLEAD Online, and we really appreciate it, and we appreciate your time this morning. You have a great weekend, okay?
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, it's my pleasure. You're listening to SCVI and iLEAD School's Eye on the Valley. We'll be right back. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Experience Frontier Toyota's all-new hot and exciting Toyota lineup. Serving the Santa Clarita Valley for over 30 years. Frontier Toyota, the Camry, Corolla, and Prius Kings. They're tops in Tacoma and Tundra trucks. Frontier Toyota, the new way of car buying. Shop from home at frontiertoyota.com or visit their showroom at Valencia and Creekside. Discover a whole new car buying experience with your friends at Frontier Toyota.
Consumers Furniture is back open for your business. The safety of our community and our staff, above all, is most important to us. We will provide a safe and clean environment for you to find the perfect piece of furniture for your home. To help you with your purchase, we are offering 25% off your entire order or 24 months same as cash financing. And for our awesome essential workers, we will deliver locally your furniture free of charge. Consumers Furniture is located in the Center Point Shopping Center below Sam's Club and Walmart.
No, can you believe it? My owner just dumped me in front of the bins in this trash enclosure. Now I'm taking up space and blocking the bins from being serviced. Can someone let him know that Santa Clarita's waste haulers offer free large item pickup or drop-off? Bulky items, like me, can be dropped off at their local facility for free, or you can schedule a pickup. GreenSantaClarita.com has the instructions. It's easy. Don't dump. It's better for your neighborhood and keeps me off the streets.
Thinking of buying a house and want a really low interest rate? Owning has a special for home purchases, where Owning pays all your closing costs, and the rate and APR is an unheard of 1.875% for a 15-year fixed mortgage with 20% down. This is the craziest low rate for a mortgage with no closing costs that Owning has ever done. 1.875% rate and APR. Heck, We're almost paying you to live in a new house. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to see if you qualify for this crazy low 1.875% rate. That's a fixed rate loan at 1.875% with no closing costs. Call 833-2-OWNING now because 1.875 could go away at any time.
NMLS 2611, licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, subject to credit approval. Offer assumes the use of lender's choice escrow and title services. Call 833-858-80066 for terms and conditions.
That's 833-2-OWNING or owning.com. 833-2-OWNING or owning.com.
Why did Mercedes-Benz of Valencia win the Dealer of Excellence Award in 2019?
Because we strive to provide the most outstanding sales experience.
Mercedes-Benz of Valencia COO Chris Paz.
We know you have high expectations. Our stellar team will meet and exceed your expectations. That's why we were named Mercedes Best of the Best, placing us in the top 10% of all Mercedes dealers nationwide.
Find out how you can lease a new Mercedes for unbelievably low monthly payments. Details at mbzvalencia.com.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and iLEAD Schools' Eye on the Valley. We just wrapped up with Kate Wolf at iLEAD Online, and, you know, this is probably the 9th or 10th conversation we've had with the folks from iLEAD Online, and it never ceases to just blow my mind the amazing way they're able to connect with kids. Because, you know, when I think of online learning, I think of, okay, yeah, it might be convenient, it might be a way to accelerate things, but there's no connection. What if my kid's struggling? And that's like the opposite of what they're doing. I would argue that the learners at iLEAD Online oftentimes are getting more human interaction and more support than they even get when they're going to a classroom-based campus. So great conversation with Kate. Now, let's continue to keep our eye on the Valley. Let's take a look at the calendar today. Taking a look at the minor holidays. Let's see, not a whole lot going on today. National Clean Beauty Day. National Old Maids Day. No, thank you. National Cheese Day. All right. Patty's excited about that one.
Oh, yeah. No.
You like your cheese.
I like cheese.
All right,
oh, yeah.
Careful, it'll bind you up.
Very aware.
Also National Cognac Day, so now we're talking. All right. National Hug Your Cat Day. Now you lost me. Yeah. National Safe Day. Okay. All right. Here's one. National Donut Day. All right. I can get down with National Donut Day. Maybe swing by and pick up a donut on the way home. You know, for my son. Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so not a very exciting day when it comes to the minor holidays. Let's take a look at this day in history. This day in 1940, the British complete... Okay, this was a big one. 1940, the British complete the Miracle of Dunkirk by evacuating 338,226 Allied troops from France via flotilla of over 800 vessels, including Royal Navy destroyers, merchant marine boats, fishing boats, pleasure craft, and even lifeboats. They were able to get out that over 1/3 Allied soldiers from France. So called the Miracle of Dunkirk because it was nothing less than that. And this day in 1989, I actually remember it well, and I've been there. This day in 1989, the Tiananmen Square massacre takes place in Beijing, China, when Chinese troops cleared the square of student protesters. They were pro-democracy protesters that had gathered in Tiananmen Square to demonstrate for looser restrictions and more democracy in China, and that's when the tanks rolled in and killed nearly 1,000 of the demonstrators, although some estimates put that number much, much higher. And according to onthisday.com, that's about it. Not a very exciting day on the calendar today, so let's take a look at what's cooking this weekend in Santa Clarita. Hopefully there'll be a little bit more going on. Things are starting to loosen up. Our restrictions are I know some of my friends would argue with me, but restrictions are a little bit less than in late 80s Beijing. So we've got some fun stuff going on here in the Valley this weekend. It is a very important event. Here we go. It's Rotary Club Collection Weekend for Camp Pendleton Marines. The Rotary Club of Santa Clarita, love them. They're doing great things for our community as well as communities around the world. The Rotary Club of Santa Clarita will be collecting items to be donated to the Warrior Warehouse at Camp Pendleton, where military families can go and pick up the items that they may be lacking. So support a Marine family and head out to the Rotary Club and drop off those items that they need. Tomorrow, that is Saturday, tomorrow is the Bubbles and Bids auction for the Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, love me the Boys and Girls Club. This is the 49th annual Bubbles and Bids virtual event hosted by the Boys and Girls Club. It is set up to take place at 7 p.m. Saturday, June 5th, and features live and silent auctions. So if you like the excitement of the live auction, you can get on there 7 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, June 5th. Or if you like to be a little bit more stealth and participate in the silent auction like myself, go ahead and log on. You can bid on the items there. Proceeds go towards club programs. That's the Boys and Girls Club. This weekend, all weekend, Gilchrist Farms hosts its mini farm camp for kids ages 2 to 5. We had owner Monica Gilchrist on just last week, and they run an amazing camp if your littles are interested in something like that. This weekend and next weekend, Les 66, or the 66 for my English-speaking friends, will be performed by Mission Opera at Santa Clarita United Methodist Church on Bouquet Canyon. Josh Wentz was just on Eye on the Valley a couple of weeks ago talking about it, and it sounds like a lot of fun, even if you're not an opera buff. So go ahead and check it out. That one is live and outdoors, but if you prefer the virtual theater, the SOS Theater Fest is putting on Beethoven and Misfortune Cookies, the compelling true story of Cabin Thomas, a wildly popular 43-year-old black music appreciation professor at the University of Arkansas, who was fired after a white student complained about the use of profanity and a graphic image depicting a lynching in one of his lessons. This is the story of how he lost himself and then found his way back. For more information on these events, you can check out the websites of those organizations, or you can get it all right here at KHTS on hometownstation.com. That is hometownstation.com. We've got information on these events and so much more about what's going on around the Valley. When we come back, we'll be talking to Tim and Susan Traurig. They are the founders of Guardians of Santa Clarita Valley, and they're looking out for those who are looking out for us, so stay tuned. I'm Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and iLEAD Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
When you look at your child, you see so much. A creative spirit that surprises you every day. A little leader growing to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make the world better. At SCVI, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free TK through 12 charter school provides boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a learning program customized just for your child. Today, that means empowering your child to bring strengths and passions to the distance learning environment. Our approach keeps your child and family in step while online, inspiring your learner to keep growing without missing a beat. At SCVI, your child will find even more ways to grow with projects and activities in STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. With the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, SCVI produces graduates who excel at top universities and in life. For enrollment information or to learn more about our distance learning program, visit iLEADSantaClarita.org. iLEAD Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
No words can describe the power of belonging to a group of close friends or being part of a family. Insight Treatment Center was founded more than 20 years ago to give teenagers a community of friends and family as they overcome issues like depression, anxiety, and trauma. The new Santa Clarita location is a COVID-secure environment where distance and good airflow are a priority. As a leader in providing intensive outpatient treatment to teenagers, Insight Treatment Center in Santa Clarita is here to help. Call 888-295-9995 or go online to insighttreatment.com.
Traffic brought to you by Frontier Toyota. Frontier Toyota reminds you to drive safely. Shop from home at frontiertoyota.com or visit their showroom on Valencia and Creekside. See their all-new, hot and exciting 2021 Toyota Camry. Frontier Toyota, the Camry Kings.
No contract pest control. Did you hear that? Yes, Unipest has no contract, low impact, affordable, and environmentally and family friendly pest control options with orange oil or other family friendly products. Whether it's ants, spiders, gophers, termites, or bed bugs, Unipest Termite and Pest Control has an effective, eco-friendly option for you. Call Unipest today for a free orange oil inspection at 661-BUG-7575 or visit unipest.com.
KHTS AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 9 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
The president calls it good news. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. He's reacting to the May jobs report. Nearly twice as many hires as April's disappointing number. Fox's Rachel Sutherland has this live.
Lisa, employers added 559,000 jobs last month as the unemployment rate dropped to 5.8%, the lowest level since pandemic shutdowns began last year. Speaking to reporters in Delaware, President Biden said America is on the move again.
As we continue this recovery, we're going to hit some bumps along the way. Of course, that'll happen. We can't reboot the world's largest economy like flipping on a nice light switch.
The employment report fell short of economists' expectations of more than 650,000 jobs. Lisa?
Thanks, Rachel. The president also telling reporters he may have more to say later today after another round of infrastructure talks. He's set to meet again with the lead Republican negotiator, West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito, trying to bridge gaps on the cost, taxes, and priorities in the plan. A cross-county crackdown on crime in Florida centered around Miami, where at least 4 people have been killed and over 40 injured in several recent incidents of gun violence. So local, state, and federal officials are teaming up to launch Operation Summer Heat.
We're leveraging our intelligence, and most importantly, we're leveraging the heart of the people of Miami-Dade.
Miami Police Chief Art Acevedo, 17 strike teams will be sent out by the county with the power to shut down businesses that may be hotspots for crime. Romania Dukes, who lost her 17-year-old son in a shooting, is urging the public to help the police.
We all know who our killers are. And it's up to our community to stand up. Our community needs to stand up and stand up now.
The state attorney's office plans to send its own staff out to the crime scenes as well. America is listening to Fox News.
Paid for by government.com.
Have you heard? A recent stash of 1906 $10 gold Liberty coins has been found. These gorgeous 1906 O gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 17 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Just call government at 1-800-456-2466, and you are guaranteed a mint condition 1906 $10 gold Liberty featuring the iconic O mint mark of the New Orleans Mint. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These 1906 gold coins are still in uncirculated condition. That is 115 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-456-2466. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value free with every order. Call 1-800-456-2466 now to secure your 1906 O Gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-456-2466.
President Biden says he does still have confidence in Dr. Anthony Fauci, answering a shouted question from a reporter about his chief medical advisor. Recently disclosed emails from last year raising more questions about an early dismissal of the lab leak theory in Wuhan as the possible virus origin. Some House Republicans want a new round of hearings.
We owe it to the American people to get to the bottom of not only what happened that led to 3 million dead, but what is the administration's position going forward on this type of research that puts kind of, I describe it as the virus on steroids to see how it spread.
Florida Republican Congressman Michael Waltz. Fauci has denied that U.S. grant funding was intended for gain-of-function research. Russian President Vladimir Putin says hacking allegations against his country are an effort to provoke conflict ahead of his first summit with President Biden this month. But Putin also tells the Interfax news agency he hopes the meeting will create conditions to normalize U.S. ties with Russia. Soccer fans at a match in Colorado get tossed out for chants against the LGBTQ community.
While the San Francisco Giants will make baseball history Saturday as the first Major League team to wear colors of the pride flag on their caps and jerseys to honor and celebrate Pride Month, a reminder of present-day bigotry toward the LGBTQ plus community spotlighted in Denver Thursday at an international soccer match between Mexico and Costa Rica. The CONCACAF Nations League semifinal got halted mid-game temporarily as part of anti-discrimination protocol. CONCACAF tweeted, due to discriminatory chanting, the referee stopped the match for up to 3 minutes. Anti-gay chants from some supporters of the Mexican team had already opened an investigation this March by FIFA, the governing body of soccer. CONCACAF noted stadium security ejected several fans for discriminatory language after warnings were made on the PA system.
Fox's Jared Max. Mexico won last night's match and will face the U.S. in Sunday's final. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Wall Street opened higher after the May employment report showed the labor market continues its recovery, with all three major averages showing solid gains. One big factor eased some investors' concerns. Labor Department data shows the U.S. economy added slightly fewer jobs than economists expected, while the unemployment rate fell more than expected. Together, the mixed data suggests the Federal Reserve will continue to be patient before paring back additional support from the economy. According to one economist, nothing from today is going to move the needle for the Fed imminently. Joining the growing pool of companies adopting hybrid work, Apple is telling office staff to prepare to return to the workplace at least most of the time. It wants most office workers to show up Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, with the option to work remotely on Wednesdays and Fridays. And that's your Fox Business Report. I'm Sal Giangrasso, invested in you.
Only T-Mobile for Business uses unconventional thinking to help businesses realize new possibilities, like our WFX solutions, enabled by our nationwide 5G network that help teams stay connected and productive where work happens. We also provide an award-winning customer experience and first-class benefits with every plan. Get unmatched network support and value without any trade-offs at T-Mobile.com/unconventional. Capable device required. Coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain plan or feature. See T-Mobile.com.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260 CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
Accidents happen, but rest assured Patterson's Collision Center is here to help. Patterson's is a family-owned and operated collision repair facility providing the Santa Clarita Valley with premium collision repairs. Patterson's prides itself on being the only California-certified green repair shop in all of Santa Clarita. They are insurance claim specialists and even offer payment plans for your deductible. For personalized, friendly service, visit PattersonsCollisionCenter.com or call 294-1011 and let Patterson's Collision Center help ease your worries today.
Once heart attack symptoms begin, delaying treatment increases the risk of heart damage, disability, and even death. Time is critical. Leading the Valley with the most advanced digital technology and treatment times that beat national best practice goals, Providence offers emergency coronary angioplasty and stenting performed by highly trained board-certified cardiologists. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING. The road to healing leads to Providence.
Thinking of buying a house and want a really low interest rate? Owning has a special for home purchases, where Owning pays all your closing costs, and the rate in APR is an unheard of 1.875% for a 15-year fixed mortgage with 20% down. This is the craziest low rate for a mortgage with no closing costs that Owning has ever done. 1.875% rate in APR. Heck, we're almost paying you to live in a new house. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to see if you qualify for this crazy low 1.875% rate. That's a fixed rate loan at 1.875% with no closing costs. Call 833-2-OWNING now because 1.875 could go away at any time.
NMLS 2611, licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Subject to credit approval. Offer assumes the use of lender's choice escrow and title services. Call 833-858-0066 for terms and conditions.
That's 833-2-OWNING or owning.com. 833-2-OWNING or owning.com.
Hey there, it's Tori with your hometown station weather. Mostly sunny skies this week with highs in the upper 80s to low 90s. A bit of a cool down early next week. For anything and everything Santa Clarita Valley related, go to hometownstation.com.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. I am Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVI and iLEAD Schools Eye on the Valley. My next guest joined me in studio. Super excited whenever our guests can come in studio. In 2015, Tim and Susan Traurig founded Guardians of Santa Clarita Valley out of the recognition of the need to bring like-minded individuals with similar backgrounds and experiences together to form a community of support and action. We wanted to provide a place where individuals could do life together, it says on their website, and encourage one another to live life to their full potential. Susan, Tim, welcome to Eye on the Valley.
Thank you for having us. Good to be here.
It's my pleasure, and first of all, thank you so much for what you do. Our listeners are about to find out a little bit about what you do, but let's start with you guys. Tell me a little bit about your background. What do you or did you guys do for a living? Are you both, I know you work in supporting first responders now. Are you both first responders yourselves?
We are not.
Okay.
I am. She's kind of a first responder, but that's at home.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. You know, every mom is a first responder, right?
I spent 35 years with LA City Fire Department. Okay. I retired 6 years ago. And during my career, early in my career in the mid-'80s, I became part of the first critical incident stress debriefing teams for LA City Fire. And I got to see, as the department started to notice that there were some issues happening, guys and gals being affected by, incidents, significant incidents on the job, they started to, at that point, try to find a way to help. And that way back then is kind of what started to get me thinking towards the lines of what I do today with Guardians.
Okay.
And we've been married for 40 years.
Wow, congratulations.
We have 3 daughters, 3 grandkids, and we partner together in a lot of things that we have done. We actually run another nonprofit out here called A Light of Hope for kids that struggle with substance abuse, depression, anxiety, cutting, and we've been doing that for 13 years. And some of what we saw in the impact that peer-to-peer support has is what kind of motivated me towards affecting and being able to support the community that I'm so familiar with, and that's fire, law enforcement, and military.
Wow, you guys are doing some amazing work that cuts a swath across our community that is so needed and often neglected. Wow, thank you so much, and thank you, Tim, for your service. We really appreciate that. I was talking to you off the air that I grew up in a police officer's home myself, and am very familiar with not only the stress and trauma that Dad went through, but then the stress and trauma that the rest of us went through as Dad was out there serving the community. And all too often we hear stories about how some of those stressors also come very directly at the family. And we could get into story after story, which would break all of our hearts, so we won't get into that. Let's just say that our first responders carry an incredible burden, and so it's so wonderful to know that you guys are there to help support those that take such good care of us. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how Guardians works? What do you guys do?
Well, we have a weekly support meetings, group meetings. We meet on Monday nights from 7 to 9 o'clock, and basically it's a place for like-minded individuals, as you stated, with similar backgrounds and experiences in the military, law enforcement, and fire, to get together and really just do life together. We say iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And so what we find out is there is such a need amongst this population of people, the fire service especially, with what you've seen most recently, what's happened in our own community with Fire Station 81 and Tori and what his family's going through right now and all of that, that there's a need, there's really a hidden, kind of a hidden thing going on amongst this population of people. There's a lot of suffering that I say they suffer in darkness alone.
Yes.
That's why we see the suicide rate so high amongst military, for sure, up to 22 a day. But amongst fire and law enforcement now, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, the statistics really changed to where it went to now, today. More fighters and law enforcement will die because of suicide than in the line of duty. And so as I started looking at those over the years, I thought, we really need to do something.
Yeah.
Now, Guardians didn't become a nonprofit officially until really the beginning of this year, but we've been meeting together since 2015.
Yeah.
And it grew and grew, and we saw there's such a need amongst this population of people. What can we do to make a difference? And let's get us together because we're a family.
Yeah.
And let's get our family together and let's start working together to get ourselves in a better place emotionally, physically, spiritually, and learn to really thrive in life, not just survive in life. And I think a lot of us in that population really struggle. It's just not talked about.
Yeah.
So I thought, if we could get us together, we'll have some weekly meetings and give guys a safe place with like-minded people, an opportunity to talk and share.
Yeah.
Of just about life stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be all related to your job or deployments or whatever, but just in life is enough, let alone adding what you see and experience on the job.
Yeah.
And I realized in my own life, and we've been going through just a lot of healing in our own marriage and family and counseling and really understanding how the effects of repetitive trauma can have on a person's life. And when we first started this group, I said to everybody that was in there, I said, listen, you guys are all professional boxers. And they said, well, what do you mean? I said, you all get paid to box your emotions.
Yeah.
I said, and you wouldn't be able to be good at what you do on the job unless you could box your emotions. It's what allows you to be very professional at what you do. But there's collateral damage to that. And the collateral damage to that is, amongst our population, we see some of the highest divorce rates, suicide rates, domestic violence, drug use, alcoholism, because all of these suppressed emotions and feelings are stuck there. And we all have what I call a carousel of slides. You see a traumatic experience, you see something, and that slide goes into the carousel. You see another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And pretty soon your head is full of things you can't unsee anymore. And so we give guys a place to see that it's okay to talk about it, that it's not a weakness, because the culture of the fire department and law enforcement military is, hey, we're tough dudes.
Right.
We're fix-it guys. We fix everybody else's problems. And I think the population...
You've met my dad.
And people look at us and think, oh, these guys must have it all together because they fix everybody else's issues.
Sure.
When all of a sudden we have our own issues, we try to fix them by ourselves. We don't reach out. We get stuck. We try to manage all that stress and emotion through alcohol, drugs, anger, all the collateral damage that you see in some of our families and our lives, and bad things happen. And so we realized there was a need to really get the wives and families involved because they're such a huge part of the healing process and have been damaged by some of the collateral damage of those experiences.
Sure, that's an important part. Susan, can you talk a little bit about what you do? Because we're not just talking about the trauma suffered by those first responders that are out there seeing it, doing it, going through it, but also there is that collateral damage on the family. So talk about what your role is.
Yes. So as a wife myself, and even the kids, the families, there's a lot that goes on that we really don't understand, and nobody has educated us. Like the fire department doesn't usually take you in and say, this is what to expect.
This is how you be a firefighter's wife. Yeah.
So a lot of things happen as the women came together. We have our own set of circumstances in being married or a supporting partner of a fire. We've got women, though, wives that are also deputies, so they're both.
Oh,
They're both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
So they could go in either group and benefit from it. But we as wives, I think we sometimes feel that there's something wrong with us because a lot of times these guys will come home, they've seen a horrible incident or something. They don't necessarily, they might just say, oh, I went on a call. They'll gloss over it. They don't go into a lot of detail. And then they shut down because they're trying to cope. And we, as the wife, take it personally. And we think that we are, what did we do? And the kids, same thing.
Sure. Sure, yeah. Why is Dad?
Sometimes maybe they'll snap and get angry, or another thing they do is because their shifts are so long and they don't get a lot of sleep on a lot of the calls, they'll come home and sleep a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So really, the wives, we have to learn how to build our own lives and be pretty independent. And as you start talking amongst, after being active duty 35 years, this is the first time I've been in a group like this.
Yeah.
And what we do is we just process our feelings and help support each other, and learn, there's nothing wrong with you. And we're learning as a couple. It took this many years. I wish I would have had this sooner.
Yeah.
And part of our heart in doing this is we can give people the gift of maybe learning sooner.
Yes.
So they don't go through 40 years of marriage going, what the heck is wrong? And that's where the divorces happen.
Right.
Or people just go, well, I guess this is just the way it is. And we're learning so much. I'm learning about the way that Tim had to deal to be able to cope with what he was seeing, traumatic incidents and so forth, so that when he came home, my experience of that was sometimes he wasn't available emotionally, and I would see him just kind of glaze over, and take that personally. And so there is so much need for this. And the kids, the same thing.
Yeah.
So we're learning and growing. This is new for all of us. There's really hasn't been anything like this, and we're just learning and growing together. But it has been a blessing. What I feel amongst these women, I feel so. I have these deep friendships and just the camaraderie that we now have as wives. So it's been really a wonderful experience.
I can imagine it's a lot like, walking through a desert for years and then finally getting that drink of water. Because, people would say, there's always spiritual and emotional counselors out there, but the frame of reference is just so different, right? So important that the work that you guys are doing. Thank you so much. Tim, you touched on it a little bit. When we talk about timing, I don't want to use the word fortuitous, but great timing that you're able to come in and talk. We had the tragic events up in Agua Dulce just earlier this week, just a few days ago. Yes. Can you talk a little bit about your reflections on that and what happened and then kind of the fallout? Because unfortunately, as a community, we've watched this family walk through some devastating circumstances during a week that really should have been celebration for that family.
Yes. It breaks my heart. I was very emotionally affected by that event, as was Susan when I came home and was seeing what was on TV. It also touched me in a way of, I wonder what the underlying issues are all here that would lead a person to go to that extent and take others' lives and then take their own life. And because I've so much seen the effects of, and I don't know if this is the reason, but seen the effects of what a job can do to individuals. I've seen lots of suicides in my career amongst some of my brothers and sisters on the fire department. And it comes out in some really horrific ways, whether it's in relationships or ultimately a suicide or death like we've seen recently. And I think there's a lot that needs to be done amongst fire department, law enforcement, even military, of really doing some pre-education early in careers for families and individuals to say, hey, this journey you're about to go on, here's what it kind of looks like. Here's some of the pitfalls that can happen. Here's some of the experiences you might have, and that here's some resources or things you can do to navigate around some of those pitfalls. Be aware of certain responses and behaviors that may be a sign that, hey, these things are, I'm being affected by some things. And we don't like emotion. because emotion works against us.
Yeah. It's a good thing in life, but it can damage you. It can get you in some serious trouble.
In our career,
Yeah.
we have to stay calm and collected, but we also can't get emotionally involved so that we can do our job. But then when we come home, we have all this built-up emotion, and we don't have a place to put it, and then we shut down to any kind of emotion, so we're not there emotionally for our families.
Right.
And so we stay stuck in our heads.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot going on in people's heads they don't talk about, and they don't realize there's a place to go. And a lot of people don't want to go internally within their own departments because they don't want to have
That'll red flag you, right?
That's
This
right.
guy's dealing with some issues. This lady is working through some problems, and so we got to take her off the front lines or,
right.
or
Take
what
her
have
badge
you.
and gun away from her because
Sure.
she said she's having some mental things, and who's going to go and look for help if you know that's what's going to happen? And
Yeah.
So it's really been a tragedy of what's happened recently here, but you see that there's such an amazing family amongst this community of the fire service when you see all these guys that showed up at Jocelyn's graduation at Saugus.
Yeah.
Right? Over 300 firefighters showed up to be and show their support. And it
Yeah.
shows the type of family that this is. And I think the family can help process through this. And that's kind of what we're doing.
Mhm.
We're bringing the family together.
Yeah.
And we're going, let's battle this together. You're not alone. I'm not alone. We're not alone. And we can work through these issues. We'll be there for one another. We'll share with one another. We'll be open, transparent. And we encourage these guys and gals to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Being vulnerable is not something we like.
Well, again, it's something that can get you in trouble on the job.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think as guys and gals have the opportunity to learn that,
Mhm.
a lot of that built up stuff can be dealt with and create a much healthier life and relationships. And so when I look at the events that happened just recently with Fire Station 81, it makes me wonder what might have been some of the underlying issues there. But I also realize now there's been a new trauma that these guys have experienced that's so close, so personal. It's one
Right.
thing to experience trauma in a sense at a distance because you're dealing with people you don't know when you go on calls. That's powerful in itself.
Sure.
But to have something happen to your own family, one of your own crew, to you personally or somebody you know, that's devastating.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that are going to be severely affected by that are part of that fire family, even though they didn't work there. It's just that's part of my family. I'm not LA County Fire, I'm LA City,
Okay.
but that's part of my family.
Well,
and I was
absolutely.
affected as like that was a family member to me.
Well, I didn't know Torrey Carlin and don't know his family. My brother did, and like you said, his daughter graduated Saugus High School last night with my niece, and I felt it, and I could not stay composed as I watched that sweet young lady walk across the stage last night wearing her father's turnouts.
Yeah.
It was devastating.
I really encourage our community to really be very proactive in reaching out to this community of fire, police, and military. They need it. They need the support. Some of our law enforcement officers are going through some amazing stress and
Yes.
hurt and pain, as well as their families. And the support that just to have somebody come, we appreciate you. These guys don't need it. They're not looking for it. But the idea that somebody would come up to one of the guys or gals that does what we do and say, hey, we really appreciate what you guys do. We're here for you. We love you. That's really powerful. It makes it feel like what we sacrifice so much for has that it's recognized because we don't talk about it. We don't go out looking for acknowledgement or being a hero. We just do what we do because we love what we do. We're passionate about what we do. But there's a side of it that we sacrifice a lot emotionally, physically, and in our relationships because of what we see and experience.
Yeah. So you talk about expressing appreciation, and that is so key and so important. But as far as what you guys do and the work that you do, is there any way that our listeners can get involved, whether it's volunteering, donating? How can they support the important work that you guys are doing to help these first responders better process and deal with what they go through every day?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Yeah, we have a website at guardiansscv.org. It shares everything about our program. It also gives those that go there an opportunity to give and support these brave men and women of the fire service, law enforcement, and the military. We have a Facebook page, Guardian SCV or Guardian Santa Clarita. They can find us there. Also, we have an Instagram now that's Guardians SCV. And what we're doing is, we're really trying to get the word out in a lot of different ways because we want to bring in our population of people and let them know there's a community of support. But we also want to bring the community in to help support us so that we can do what we're doing. And we've done some recent events. We love having volunteers. You can go to our contact information on our website and put your email in there and subscribe so that you can be included in some of our events and upcoming things that are going on, and stay connected with what's happening with Guardians in our community. And something that's really cool is if you're supporting Guardians in our community, you're actually supporting beyond our community, because we also are bringing in others from other states, and they meet with us on Zoom during our meetings. We have several in Utah. We've had Idaho, Arizona, and we're getting ready to start another Guardians in Utah. So they're supporting a bigger cause that goes beyond our city here to affect these men and women in fire, law enforcement, military, maybe all over the United States.
You guys are amazing. We're talking to Tim and Susan Traurig, founders of Guardians of Santa Clarita Valley. Tim, the trauma that these men and women deal with day in and day out for decades is a real problem. And I want to talk a little bit more about that trauma and what we can do about it when we get back. And you mentioned some of the cool events that you guys are putting on. I want to be able to talk about that as well, but we need to take a quick commercial break. You're listening to SCVI and iLEAD School's Eye on the Valley. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Thank you for supporting Duncan during the COVID-19 pandemic. Duncan in Canyon Country and on Bouquet Canyon is now hiring team members, shift leaders, and assistant managers. Duncan offers competitive pay, career growth, benefits, flexible hours, team member discounts, and a fun work environment. Apply at DunkinDonuts.com and search careers. Make sure to try the new avocado toast or grilled cheese sandwich. All Dunkin' restaurants are independently owned and operated by individual franchises. The Santa Clarita Valley runs on Dunkin'.
Are you looking for educational flexibility and choice? Look no further than your front door. iLEAD Exploration's independent study program is passionate about personalized learning. Our mission is to inspire learners to become creative problem solvers, compassionate leaders, conscientious collaborators, and responsible citizens who develop a lifelong love of learning. Our families partner with a credentialed teacher to customize each child's educational path. Families access community partners to choose a variety of in-person, online, and at-home options to create an optimal learning environment for each learner. Our program also values community, and through a variety of field studies, service projects, park days, and family gatherings, we provide many opportunities to foster friendships. Because there are currently in-person limitations due to COVID, we are offering activities online through webinars and virtual field trips. iLEAD Exploration is a tuition-free, independent study charter school program serving grades TK through 12 in Los Angeles, Orange, Kern, San Bernardino, and Ventura counties. To learn more about our program, visit iLEADexploration.org. iLEAD Schools, free to think, inspired to lead. When you look at your child, you see so much. A creative spirit that surprises you every day. A little leader growing to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make the world better. At SCVI, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free TK through 12 charter school provides boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a learning program customized just for your child. Today, that means empowering your child to bring strengths and passions to the distance learning environment. Our approach keeps your child and family in step while online, inspiring your learner to keep growing without missing a beat. At SCVI, your child will find even more ways to grow with projects and activities in STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. With the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, SCVI produces graduates who excel at top universities and in life. For enrollment information or to learn more about our distance learning program, visit iLEADSantaClarita.org. iLEAD Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and iLEAD School's Eye on the Valley, and I am your host, Matt Watson. We're talking this morning with Tim and Susan Traurig, founders of Guardians of Santa Clarita Valley. They're working to care for those who take such good care of us. We're talking about police officers, firefighters, and those in our armed forces. Tim, we talked about how important it is to connect, and oftentimes connecting just for connection's sake, you know, for the folks that we're talking about, that might not be their gig, but you guys run some pretty cool events to bring people together, and then that's where kind of the bonding and the work starts. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the events you guys have put on?
Sure. The first Monday of every month, we actually have what we call Guardians Family Food and Fire Pit Night.
Okay.
It's a night that we also use to bring in new people into a very comfortable environment. No group setting. We hang out. We have food together, and all of our families get together and just talk. And you meet one another, and you find out, you know, who they are and what they're about, and it kind of breaks the ice.
Mm-hmm.
What you'll find out about this population of people is they connect really quick.
Yes.
You may not think they do, but when they're amongst their own, it happens really quick. There's a lot of banter. There's a lot of joking. You know, the Marines are kidding the Army guys, and the fire guys are kidding the donut eaters, and they're calling us hose draggers. And there's this great camaraderie that we're so used to amongst our own that really just makes you feel like you're at home. So we do those the first Monday of every month. And then we just 2 weekends ago did a car show and pancake breakfast. We had over 100 classic cars, had some music. We had a lot of people show up. And it was a way for us to introduce ourselves again into the community, but also look for our population of people and bring them into the fold and let them know there's a place like Guardians for them to connect.
Sure. And then when they connect, you know, it's funny. I was giggling as you were talking because I rib Dad all the time. I said, Dad, you hang out with a bunch of cops and ex-cops. You know, broaden your spectrum a little bit, man. Reach out. And he says, no. They get it. They get it is the way he puts it, right?
Yeah, you said those words right there. Is we use that in group a lot.
Okay.
And you'll hear those that come in say, "You guys get me."
Yeah.
And us that have been there for a while, when new people are sharing, we go, "We get it.
Yeah.
We get you. We understand. You don't have to explain it because we already get it."
And then that opens up the opportunity for people to kind of share, tell their story, right? Susan, you were talking while we were at commercial about the power of story. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I will. Well, because I personally have a lot of trauma in my life, and I've, on a personal level, learned the power of sharing and just talking. And it may just be as simple as just saying, "I saw this" or "I felt that," but there's witnesses there to support you. There's a phrase that comes from the recovery community, which would go back to our other nonprofit, which is the Light of Hope, where you're as sick as your secrets. And so many of these men and women.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah, they're told, they're encouraged to not talk about it, to box it, and so forth. So to get into a group where there's safety, and you know that you're safe there, speaking about whatever it is that you need to say, and nobody's going to judge you, and you're going to have support and love unconditionally, is the most power. It's very simple and very powerful.
Yeah, and we oftentimes we can think of that trauma that builds up kind of like the pressure cooker, right?
Yes.
And we don't want that. You know, it's funny. My ex used to cook with a pressure cooker, and I've been in the house when that pressure cooker blows, and I've been on a ladder scraping lima beans off of a ceiling. Nobody wants that, so you've got to let a little bit of the steam off at a time, and that's what those stories can do.
And I'd like to say, you know, this is what this does for this population. Like, say, my husband's coming home and he's angry and he's taking stuff out on the kids or on the dog or on me.
Sure.
And I don't understand why. When they go to these meetings and they're able to, like you said, take that steam out of the pressure cooker, that gives them a place to vent that in a safe place without harming anybody or blowing off steam at home. So these are all tools and things that we all have to learn to deal with stress and pressure. But in that line of work, they see things that we as the wives and the kids do not relate to. We don't understand.
Right.
It's not part of our world. So we have to learn how to support them and how to take care of ourselves in the process too.
Sure.
Yeah,
definitely. Gosh, I can't thank you enough for all the work you're doing with our first responders. And, you know, it's funny, talking with folks like you makes somebody sometimes feel a little bit inadequate. You're doing so much important work. But then you mentioned, Susan, you guys are also working with this organization, or did you guys? Are you guys the founders? You guys started the organization. Yeah. Man, you're pulling double duty. You're supposed to be retired, Tim. Tell me a little bit about Light of Hope. What do you guys do with Light of Hope?
Well, it came out of our own family experience. We have 3 daughters, 2 of which were in multiple rehabs for drug and alcohol addiction. Wow. And in the midst of that, we were lost, didn't have any hope. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know where to go. And we really felt called to start something like we wish we could have had when we were going through that for other people. And so A Light of Hope was born. And again, how we started it is we used our own story. And we brought hope to people and said, you're not alone. We understand. And just that was how it seeded. How it began was us facilitating groups. A close friend of ours, Steve Markley, who's also one of the founders of A Light of Hope, has been a therapist or a counselor out here, been working with families and young people for 40 years. And he worked with our family. We partnered with him. He worked with the youth. We did with the parents for the first couple of years, running the groups, and we were learning in the process, but it was also really therapeutic for us, but also we were learning so much and sharing as we moved along in our own recovery as parents. And we say our parents are in recovery, and we're in recovery from the insanity that we've been living in, trying to fix our kids.
Yeah.
Because you can't change another person. We want to fix them. We think we can fix them. We try to fix them, and then we get so frustrated we can't do it. So we're doing weekly support groups, for the parents, weekly support groups for the kids. We have about 20 parents that meet on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. We have about 40 kids in a week or 35 kids in a week that come through there on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. We have activities and events for them on the weekends where they can connect with this safe, sober peer group of kids to support their sobriety. Because just going, as we found out, just sending your kids to treatment doesn't fix your kids.
Right.
They have to be ready. They have to be willing.
I've heard it said that getting sober is honestly not that hard. The hard part is staying sober.
That's it.
Yeah, and so that support.
And the easiest place really to do that is in treatment. Once you get out, that's where the real stuff happens. Now you're really back in the real world, and we saw our kids struggle over and over again. To have that positive peer group to connect with, now you've got your support system to help maintain solid recovery. And that's how Guardians works in conjunction with how you see A Light of Hope works is all of a sudden you're not alone. You're trying to recover from a lot of trauma and experiences, and you've got this family of support that helps sustain your growth, in your life. And these groups aren't just made up of people who need help. They're also made of people who have their own stories and want to help. And I say that those that are sharing their stories, as we go back to the stories, I call them wounded healers.
Yes,
They use their own woundedness to help other people heal. That's what we do in Guardians. That's what we do in A Light of Hope. And it gives me goosebumps just talking about it because there's such a power in watching that work when it's peer helping peer. I don't think there's anything more powerful. Therapists will tell you you can get a lot more done in a group setting than you can one-on-one. There is power in a group.
Well, because it's that equation that 1 + 1 = 3, right? Because while I'm using my experience to help you, I'm also treating myself, because that is the best treatment for people who are recovering or dealing with their own trauma, is to help support others.
Yeah, and Susan transitioned from working with the parents to working with the youth, and she uses her own stories there.
Yes, I have a real passion for the young people because I struggled a lot. And as a teenager, I myself had an eating disorder, and it was before, we really knew what that was. And so I walked a journey of trying to figure my own self out and get help. And I look at the young people and I see, like, boy, if they have support now and they can identify some of their issues and know there's a way out, it will save them many years of their life to be, productive people instead of struggling and surviving, and so that they can thrive. So that's a real passion of mine, just from my own personal journey. We as a family have personally experienced a tremendous amount of trauma. So I'm very passionate about helping people learn how to maneuver, and be able to heal from trauma. And as Tim stated, we're currently we're in counseling learning because we didn't know all this stuff. And so it's a wonderful gift to be able to give that to somebody else so that they can maybe save some years of their life from struggling, you know.
You guys have dealt with and are dealing with so much on your own. Not only would no one fault you, people would encourage you to say, yeah, take a step back and take care of yourselves, take care of your own. But instead of taking that step back, you guys have just jumped forward and said, yeah, in taking care of myself, we're going to work to take care of so many others. Bless you guys for all that you do. I can't imagine that there's anybody listening right now who is not in one way or the other thinking, I need to get in contact with these guys because we're dealing with some issues of addiction or trauma or struggle, whether it's in the first responder community or with teens at home. How can folks reach out and get a hold of you, and whether it's to support you guys in what you do or to help get the support that you guys provide?
Sure. They can reach us. Our phone number for A Light of Hope is 661-513-4325, or they can find us on Facebook under A Light of Hope Santa Clarita. They also can go to our website at iLEAD.SCV.org. And we also have a private parent Facebook group, which is really amazing. There's 150 parents or so in there. They support each other throughout the week. If you come to A Light of Hope and you get involved, we can get you connected to that powerful group as well. And we're getting ready to go back to in-person parent meetings starting on the 15th.
Ah, great.
Which I think is not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. Because we've been meeting online with our parents. Our youth have been meeting in person for about the last 6 months, but our parents are just bringing back next week. So they can get a hold of us through those different avenues. Also with Guardians, you can reach us at our phone number of 661-347-6307.
And producer Sarah and I are tag teaming here in the Facebook Live post. So if you need those links, they're in the Facebook Live chat. The phone numbers are in there as well. Can't thank you guys enough for your service to our community and those who oftentimes need the support the most, but reach out and get it the least.
Yes.
You guys are doing amazing work. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you. And thank you for having us. And I just want to say to your listening community to reach out. Don't stay stuck. Don't stay quiet. Don't stay on your own. Reach out for help because there's people that are there for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, I wanted to add something too because it's really important, like you said, about reaching out. You can reach out by when you see the sheriff or the firemen thanking them for what they do or the retired veterans. It means so much, especially in the climate that we're in with there's been some vitriol towards our first responders, and they really need to hear it. They really do. And that's one easy way that you can reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, thank you, Tim, Susan. We really appreciate it. Again, Guardians of Santa Clarita, as well as Light of Hope. The contact information is on our Facebook Live post. Do reach out if you need support. It doesn't make you any weaker. It doesn't make you any less of a man, any less of a woman, a firefighter. Reach out, get the support that you need so that you can do your job better and more effectively.
Absolutely.
Tim, Susan, you have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
You take care. This is SCVI and iLEAD School's Eye on the Valley. When we come back, we're going to have a little bit of fun with Big T and his 5 minutes of fame. I am your host, Matt Watson. We'll be right back on your hometown station, KHTS.
If you're in need of physical therapy, check out Focus Physical Therapy. Owner and therapist Adam Laraway has the latest in cutting-edge technology, introducing the Newbie, the ultimate in neuromuscular re-education. The Newbie can help you heal up to 70% faster and was FDA cleared in September 2017. The Newbie uses pulse direct current, which mimics the same neurological signals the brain uses and allows the therapist to identify those signals with 100% accuracy. Newbie can even help improve your sleep while tackling issues with neck, knee, and shoulder pain, sciatica, and arthritis. It can accelerate your fitness progress, which means better results in less sessions. Get stronger quicker. Why not use the same technology that the Dodgers and the LA Clippers use? Focus PT, located on Peachland off Lyons in Newhall. Call 255-4205. Go online at focusphysicaltherapyscv.com.
This is my town. This is my town. This is my town.
This is our town.
Hey, Santa Clarita, this is our town, and we're protecting our home and environment by recycling bottles and cans. It makes a difference here and here.
Take your bottles and cans to a redemption center or toss them in your recycling bin. Visit greensantaclarita.com for more information. This message is from Cal Recycling, the City of Santa Clarita.
No words can describe the power of belonging to a group of close friends or being part of a family. Insight Treatment Center was founded more than 20 years ago to give teenagers a community of friends and family as they overcome issues like depression, anxiety, and trauma. The new Santa Clarita location is a COVID-secure environment where distance and good airflow are a priority. As a leader in providing intensive outpatient treatment to teenagers, Insight Treatment Center in Santa Clarita is here to help. Call 888-295-9995 or go online to insighttreatment.com.
Save water and save money. SCV Water wants to help you find your fit and take advantage of conservation rebate programs that will help you save. Water your landscape more efficiently. Replace your lawn with water-wise plants. Conduct free in-home water surveys. Cover your swimming pool and more. Find the programs that fit your needs and start saving today. Visit conserve.yourscvwater.com to learn more.
That's conserve.yourscvwater.com.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and iLEAD Schools Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson. And joining us now in the studio is Engineer Andrew.
Yeah, hello.
Good to have you. You know, I know you're here because, it is now time for Big T's 5 Minutes of Fame. You all know Big T. He is a longtime resident and leader in the Santa Clarita Valley. He's an executive and a philanthropist. He's the quintessential family man and community member. And as of about 12 hours ago, all 4 members of his family are graduates of Saugus High School. On Centurions, on.
Hey-o.
He is Mom's favorite. Big T, welcome to the show. Big T.
What's up, Matty?
Hey, there you are. Good to have you. Hey, we got Engineer Andrew in the studio today. He's playing. Engineer Patty's playing.
Hey-o.
We are ready to go.
Let's roll. We're going to start it off in light of graduations, and thank you for acknowledging Hannah, but in light of graduations, we're going to do themes. So the first thing we have is some movie quotes from movies that are associated with going to school. Ready?
Dustin Hoffman.
Anthony Michael Hall.
What if your dope was on fire?
Frogger.
That's impossible. It's in Johnson's underpants.
Frogger.
Frogger.
Okay, so that was Judd Nelson in Breakfast Club.
That is correct.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
All
one.
right, Hamilton.
Oh, Patty.
Patty.
That was Jeff Spicoli, and that was Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Perfect. Searching for a boy in high school is as useless as searching for the meaning in a Pauly Shore movie.
I don't know.
That's Reese Witherspoon in Clueless. All right. The key to faking out parents is clammy hands.
Frogger.
Frogger.
That's Matthew Broderick in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I knew
That
it.
is correct.
The clammy hands, man.
Correct.
Kidding me.
Hey, Zuck, man, those scorpions are asking for it. Hey, yo, Danny, what's up? You still think about that chick?
Andrew.
Frogger. Ooh.
Wait.
I heard Andrew
Grease.
first. That is Grease.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I think it's pronounced Zook, not Zuck. Zuck is the Facebook guy.
Yeah, it is.
I would have loved to have seen Zuckerberg with his leather jacket, though.
There you go. Does Barry Manilow know you rate his war?
Frogger. We're
Frogger.
back to Breakfast Club.
Back to Breakfast Club again. So what Jefferson was saying was, hey,
Frogger.
We left this Cleveland place. I got to finish it, though.
All right, go ahead.
Because it was bogus. So if we don't get some cool rules ourselves,
Pronto.
we'll just be bogus, too.
Right? That would be Fast Times again.
My dad needs to be here right now for this.
He don't even have his license, Lisa.
Frogger. Weird Science.
Correct.
Sorry, guys. These movies were all popular when I was a kid.
I know them all. But you just got it fast.
I know him too. It's just been a while. I know Fast Times though. A lot.
Toga.
Patty.
Patty.
That's Animal House.
Animal House is correct.
That one slowly built on us. That was cool.
Oh, no, Mrs. Robinson. I think you're
Frogger.
the most attractive of all my parents' friends. Frogger.
Was it Frogger or Andrew?
You tell me.
I think Andrew
I
came
think
in first.
I'll give it to the boss.
Okay.
The Graduate.
Andrew.
There we
That
go.
is The Graduate, correct. That's right. I'm Abe Froman.
Oh, Patty.
Patty.
That's Ferris Bueller. That's Cameron.
That is Ferris Bueller.
I'm Abe Froman.
So all of these individuals that I name were student athletes. So what I want is name the school that they went to. So the first one, Michael Phelps, Derek Jeter, Gerald Ford, Tom Brady.
Oh, Andrew.
Oh.
Andrew.
Michigan.
Michigan is correct. Mia Hamm, Lawrence Taylor, Michael Jordan.
Frogger.
Oh, yeah.
I heard Frogger first.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
North Carolina's correct. Joe Cap, Kyle Bowler,
Andrew.
Aaron Rodgers. Andrew.
Berkeley. Cal.
That is Cal Berkeley.
Joe Cap.
correct.
I should have had that.
Trevor Bauer, Garrett Cole, Troy Aikman.
Frogger.
Oh, I thought so too.
UCLA?
UCLA is correct.
I thought so. Don't jump on
Randy
it.
Johnson, John Wayne, Tom
Frogger.
Selleck. Frogger.
That'd be USC.
USC is correct.
Randy Johnson.
Theodore Roosevelt,
Come on, boss.
FDR, Tommy Lee Jones, John F. Kennedy.
Frogger.
Frogger.
Harvard?
Harvard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harvard.
George H. and George W.
Frogger.
Frog.
They're Yale men.
Yale.
I was going to say something about
Cory
Texas.
Booker, Tiger Woods, John Elway.
Andrew. Stanford.
Andrew. Stanford is correct. I'm going to give you three names. Tell me who was not a student athlete in college. Billy Crystal, Eddie Murphy, Steve Carell.
Frogger. Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy is correct.
We got time for about one or two more, Big T.
We got
Ted
just about a
Danson,
minute.
Burt Reynolds, Ed O'Neill.
I'm going to say Andrew. Ed O'Neill. Even though it's fake.
No, he was actually a football player. Ted Danson.
Patty says Burt Reynolds.
All righty. Dr. Phil, Arsenio Hall, John Stewart.
Frogger. Dr. Phil.
No. He was
What?
a student athlete.
Oh, my Lord. Hey, Big T, we got to wrap. We got to get out of here. I creamed him again this week. That is all the time we have for today. I'd like to thank Kate Wolf from iLEAD Online, Tim and Susan Traurig, founders of Guardians of Santa Clarita Valley and Light of Hope, producer Sarah, Big T, engineer Patty, engineer Andrew, and thank you all for listening. Stick around. Phil Nordell is coming up, and join us again next week and every Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. here at Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.